Good morning, everybody. Bear here. I appreciate everybody watching and subscribing to the channel. Today we'll be doing a gear review. I've been waiting for my tent to arrive, but unfortunately it hasn't, and then I realized I'm not going to set it up anyway, so I can just discuss it when it gets here. Funny story goes along with the tent, and so that's the hook. Make you watch the whole video to get to the tent part of it. And there is construction going on next door with some renovation. You may hear occasional plane go by, or the dog's out, so you might hear her bark as well. So without further ado, we'll move over to the table and get some things set up so we can start talking about them. These are the clothes I'll be taking with me. A couple things that are missing. I will be taking a additional pair of underwear. I have several from my running and cycling that are also performance sport types underwear. I'll just have to do that. These socks, this pair here, I have another set of them. It's in the laundry now because I've been hiking, and I put in a synthetic shirt here, short sleeve shirt, but this is probably not the one I'll be taking. For the clothes I'll be wearing when I initially leave, I start off with a base layer here. And this is a synthetic thermal. The reason I purchased this one in particular is because it had targeted zones of thermal insulation on the torso and the back, but yeah, it's all breathable, but more so in the pit areas and the areas that I would be concerned with. I did a combination of synthetics and merino wool. I want to see how each of them perform. I'm familiar with the synthetics through, as I said, the running and cycling, and so I like the property that they have of wicking and removing the moisture and keeping you cool. This is also treated with an antibacterial as well, and the merino wool has the same type of properties. Cut down on the stench as much as possible on that. It is long sleeve. The merino wool is long sleeve. They're both a lightweight as far as their thermal property. Everything that I've gotten is a lightweight on that. My reasoning behind that is I prefer layering. Growing up in Colorado, you learn to layer your clothes. And you also learn to start off a little cold or chilled when you first go out. If you dress too warmly, only thing you're going to do as you get into your activity is sweat. We'd play football in the middle of snow, and so if you overdressed, you would just sweat to death. So it's better to dress down a little bit. As you start your hiking, you go through it, your own body temperature will help you keep you warm. So these are all lightweight. Merino wool, I was really surprised. As I was a child, I had the thick, itchy type wool. Even in the military, we had the heavy wool watch sweaters and pea coats and watch caps that were heavy and itchy. These are not at all. Very, very comfortable in that. This one is a half zip. I like that idea. If I start getting warm, I can zip that down. I have an additional one that isn't zip. They're all long sleeve as far as for my winter clothes itself. My pants themselves, items or features I like on this, no belt, but it does give you an opportunity to cinch it up here, as most people experience losing weight on the trail. They're also convertible. They have zip pockets up here, but they are convertible. I can make them into shorts, and at the bottom they have the zipper portion here, so I can go over my shoes and over my boots if I need be. I do have an additional pair on that. You'll notice a lot of new stuff still have the tags on it. So I'm anxious for my shakedown to actually see how a lot of this stuff performs. Edificio underwear. You hear about them all over the vlogs and everything. They are expensive. Let's hope that they're worth their money in doing that. These are some long thermal pants that I will be wearing. I typically don't get cold on my legs that often, so these are also a lighter weight. Between that and my pants and the activity, I'm sure I will be okay. I will be wearing a wool. This is actually the heaviest wool I have. It's a heavy wool hat. Don't want the heat to escape from my head. And I got a buff, a merino wool buff, so versatile in its uses to help protect my neck. I will be wearing Isocool liners and wool socks. These are a little heavier for the winter time frame. They go that. I may switch those out to thinner wool socks as we go on. And I will be using, these are the ultra long peak 3.5s, and so I'll be starting off with those. Now, as far as for in camp and additional warmth as I need it, up on the top, both of these are thermal insulated. One's top half zip. Both of them are synthetic, and then this is a merino wool long sleeve as well. These I was just interested in as an additional pair of socks. They are bamboo. So as you can tell, I want to experiment and find out how different materials perform on there. This is an Isocool waffle long sleeve shirt. It's heavier than 2 or 3 of these shirts combined, and during my shakedown I'm going to try to use it. If I find that the other ones perform well, this is definitely something I will leave behind. Here I have a pair of just running shorts, and this is a synthetic half sleeve shirt or short sleeve shirt that it's probably not the one I'm going to take, but I got, you know, a closet full of them from running and cycling, so I'll do that. I wasn't sure if I was going to put this here or not. These are compression socks. I will probably wear them mainly in the camp or at night to help move the fluid from my feet. I've also used them during the hike. They seem to work out well too, but when I used them a lot when I was cycling, and that really helped. So I'll take them, I will use them, and when I get to the equipment as far as what I'm going to use for self-care, I may include those again just so that you can see them. A lot of people just use the sleeves around their calves, but when I get swelling, it seems to be more in the feet than in my calves, so these are full socks. A lot of our gear is based on our previous experience with it, so that when we go out and purchase new items, that we will look for features that we either like or didn't like in previous gear. For rain gear, for the rain jacket itself, my experience was they held out the water so well that they weren't breathable, and it made me sweat from the inside, so it was almost counterproductive in order to do an effective job. So when I was looking at a rain jacket, the qualities it had to have waterproof ability and breathability, almost a contradiction in itself. So I settled on this one. It's a Columbia. It's waterproof and breathable. The big thing that I looked for too was the pits, have a zipper on the pits, so I can open that up and increase that. I also like the fact that it was adjustable on the waistband and around the sleeves, so that we could tighten that up, cinch it up, and prevent airflow through there. There's also an adjustment on the back of the hood to come around the face and tighten the face up and make everything stiff on that to make it as watertight as possible. This zipper pocket here up front is also waterproof. And on the inside, you can see here, it's got this thermal reflective. Yep, let me move it down. On the back side, it has this thermal reflective property that's also going to help you stay warm. Not necessary so much probably during the summer months, but I am leaving in February. Next, I have a puffy jacket. Is a 850 fill. It has similar properties to the rain jacket, where it's adjustable at the waist, sleeve, and the hood. The other good thing is it will pack into its own pocket, so it goes down to about the size of that rain poncho on the top. Between this and the rain jacket, as far as if I really need the warmth, I think I will be covered with that, with the additional layers that I have below. I did purchase this too before the puffy jacket. It's a heavier fleece. I may or may not take it. I take it during the shakedown and see how it works. But the versatility of the puffy jacket through the whole hike will probably win out on that. I like the idea of a rain poncho to cover everything, including the pack and walk. I did not buy rain pants. Bad experience in the past is just being too hot and sweaty to do that. And as I mentioned before, I normally run hot in the legs anyways, so I don't think it's going to be a heat issue. A lot of people wear them just to block the wind on that. The Gregory pack cover is there, and also for outerwear, I have the gloves. I can either wear the glove itself, I can wear the liner itself, I can wear them combined. They cover that layer. I give myself a lot more flexibility on how warm or cold it is. With the gear that I have selected for the insulating and the heating properties and the waterproof properties, I think I'll be covered and I won't have any issues as far as staying warm or staying dry. Okay, now let's take a look at the sleeping system I have. This looks so much bigger out of the bag and on the table. It is a REI sleeping bag, a mummy sleeping bag rated at 20 degrees. I went with a mummy style sleeping bag over a quilt more for my own tradition. It's what I'm used to, it's what I'm comfortable with, and I like the idea of being enclosed during the winter months. I went with a 20 degree rating because I normally sleep hot anyways, and I've had 15 and 0 degree sleeping bags that I just get overheated through the night. And so I also believe this will give me more longevity through the whole hike when the weather starts warming up. I did go with the silk bag liner. I looked at the different options available. Since I'm starting earlier, do I want more insulating factor or not? But again, longevity during the warmer months, this will give me a cooling, comforting effect as well as keeping the bag. Now, to keep myself insulated from the ground, I did go with the Thermarest Neo Air air mattress that is insulated and has reflective properties. The R value is rated at 5.7, so that's definitely going to come in handy in February during the colder months. I will see if it's too much later on, and maybe I'll swap that out. But I do, even though I like to sleep cool, I don't want to be cold. And then I have this, my original purchase was this reflective mat. And I'll take it with me during the shakedown, sleep with it one night, sleep not the other night, do a comparison on it to see if it's worth the weight to taken initially on that. I'm thinking probably not. I think a R factor of 5.7 will be sufficient during all that. Okay, this is the tent that I have currently. I will be returning that once I receive my new one. For those of you who have been observant, you'll see that the tablecloth that I'm using is actually going to be my footprint. It is a sheet of Tyvek, so the two go together as far as my tenting system. The story behind this tent is kind of funny. Is when I first started looking at tents, I seeked advice from my friend Dan, who does a lot of hiking himself, and he loved his tent. He said how easy it was to set up. It was convenient. It was fairly lightweight, and he couldn't say enough good about it. But I wanted to do my research, so I was doing some comparisons, and he sent me a link to his tent. And so I compared that to the other ones I was interested in. And I kept asking him, is that enough for you? Is that enough room? You know, Danny's probably a little shorter than I am, but he's very broad and muscular. And I said, is it comfortable for you? He's like, yeah. I said, even with your equipment? He said, yeah, I can. My equipment can fit in it, or it's got even I can put it in the vestibule if it's muddy or anything. It's got plenty of room. So I bought it, I received it, I set it up, everything that he said was true. I was happy with the setup, the material, it was tall, it had a great height in it, so I was able to sit up in it, but it still seemed a little small to me. So it wasn't, this was like end of September, beginning of October. It wasn't until like December that we were talking about it again. And I said, you know, I'm really considering going with a two-man tent. And he's like, well, that's what I have. I'm like, what? You have a two-man tent? Everything you sent me, the link and everything, was for a one-man tent. And we both laughed and realized a mistake. So I am switching this out for a two-man tent that was supposedly supposed to be here on Wednesday. The ironic thing with it is that the two-man tent is at equal weight as this one-man tent. The thing you sacrifice with that is the material is thinner, and so probably not as durable, and that's why the footprint is going to be more critical for me. I was using the footprint anyways, so there's no additional weight with that, but with a thinner material, I think it's equally or more important than ever to have the footprint.